our retreat to the Himalayan Institute. I know Debbie's already signed up, Charlie. It is February 24th to 27th. When you do sign up, then you get a really detailed itinerary, but it's at the Himalayan Institute. It's a 3-hour drive north to Honesdale, Pennsylvania. It's beautiful there. Should be snowy. Hopefully it will be because we're snowshoeing and drinking hot chocolate outside by a bonfire. These are the important things in life. But we're also practicing yoga with me and also Roberta, who's a great restorative teacher, so people of any level could come. And they're really great at some things at the Himalayan Institute, and we're going to take part in that. So we're going to do 2 meditation learning sessions with their teachers and a pranayama learning session. So pranayama is breathing exercises, and there's so many of those to learn. So we're going to do all of that stuff. If you're interested, you can just sign up on the website. We are about halfway through selling those spots, so there's some spaces left. Let's get started. Child's pose. It's a happy Thursday. It's a good day to be on the mat. I didn't expect to teach today. I thought I'd only practice, but now I get to be in here twice, and that's always a good day. Take a deep breath in, and then just exhale through your mouth. Put your attention on your breath, and start to put your attention on your foundation. So when we talk about your foundation, we're really referring to hands, feet, and core. So while you're here building your breath and your drishti, just put your attention on the sensations in your palms. While you're here, stretch your fingers out. Maybe wake your hands up a little bit more, and then work with the 4 corners of your hands, putting some weight into your thumb side of the hand, the pinky finger side, fingertips, wrists. Work your way around through the sensations in your palms, and then choose that each fingertip is strong, and there's a lot of effort in the thumb side of the hand and ease in the pinky finger side of the hand. Once you have your hands nicely set, bring yourself up into downward facing dog. Keep your breath flowing and your drishti set, and then attention on your hands and feet. Come on up here, pick a spot somewhere up here with us. You squeeze the mat with your fingertips and find the 4 corners of your hands here by moving the weight through your hands until you can discover more weight on the thumb side than is typical, and your hands feel really strong with the mat. Now keep setting your breath. Keep setting your steady gaze. And then with your foundation, make it a little longer. Take it longer than you kind of think it should be. Keep squeezing the mat, and then with your soft knees, drag your hips up and back. I was doing this in Kelly's class on Sunday, and I discovered there was a sense as I'm normally breathing here. Every time I inhale, I get this sense of my armpits deepening. And then as I exhale, I get a sense of my hands pressing. But when we took the pose longer, I suddenly got this long straightening and flattening in the armpits, and I got this sense not just of stretch from my fingertips up the back of my body to my hips, but under the bottom side of my body to the creases of my hips. Take a couple more breaths and create that for yourself. You might need more length. Just 2 more breaths. Yeah, can you feel the belly side of your body stretching? Then look forward and walk up to the front of your mat. Set your feet wide, hip width distance. Inhale, lift up halfway. Work your spine. Get your really long spine all set up. Belly supportive. Breathe and set your feet. You'll need inhales and exhales as you work through the corners of your feet, just rocking around, setting them until they're really connected to the floor. Take another breath in and lengthen. Exhale, hang down. Start to circulate your breath so that you feel it in your body, you hear it in your ears, and you start to hear your neighbor breathing. Sway from side to side. Wiggle your toes and press your feet down. Okay, another breath in. This time as you exhale, press down, pull the pit of your belly up and roll up halfway. Come up halfway so you feel like you're like a Frankenstein or a Halloween character. Let your head just hang and breathe into your upper back, across your shoulders. If you want to here, you can hold your opposite elbow here. breathe, not necessarily a side-to-side sway, though you can check that out, but every time you exhale that you're pressing your chest up into your spine, letting your chin tuck, breathing and stretching open your upper back. Take 3 more breaths to just discover your upper back. I love that action. Charlie's gone with crisscrossing his forearms and pressing his palms together. I bet that's giving you this chance to really press up into your upper back. 1 more breath. Then come rolling the rest of the way up until you get tall and your chin is on your chest. Just breathe here. While your chin is on your chest, roll your shoulders back a couple of times. Let your neck open up. Keep on breathing while your head hangs. Let your head hang over to the right and breathe. Let your head hang over to the left and breathe. Come back up to the center. Take another breath in. As you exhale, press your feet down. Unwind your neck and look up. Inhale, reach your arms overhead. Stretch up, look up, and then bring your hands into prayer position and pause. Set your gaze on one point at the front of the room and set your intention for the practice. 3 times we'll chant Om together. Take a deep breath in. Number 2, don't be afraid to make noise. Go ahead yourself. Breathe and let the sound come out of your body. Everybody's always hesitant. All right, I'll do it with you. Breathe in. One more. We want to hear you from home. Inhale, reach up. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, lift up halfway. Low plank on the exhale. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Step back and lengthen your base until you feel you're ironed out your armpits. Yes, Hannah. 1 more then. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees and look forward. Then jump up to your hands. Inhale, lift up halfway. Forward fold. Press down. Reach up, look up. Go back. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths here. Get your long foundation and even try it set up wide. 1 more time. Inhale. That's it, Charlie. Bend your knees. Exhale. Jump to your hands. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Press your feet down. Rise up. Lift up. Look. Fold to the floor. Exhale. Inhale. Halfway lift. Low plank as you exhale. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. 3 breaths. Press the knuckle of your pointer finger down into the mat. Grip the mat with your fingertips. Here we go. Inhale. Bend your knees on the exhale. Squeeze. Now jump. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Press your feet down. Roll up. Get all those spots in your back open and look. Fold to the floor. Halfway lift. Low plank. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Set your base every time. 3 breaths. 2 more. The last one is for preparing. Squeeze the mat, bend your knees, look forward, and jump. Halfway lift, forward fold. Chair pose next. Sit back and reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, open your chest. Downward facing dog, right foot forward and lunge. Reach your arms up as you breathe in. Stay here for a couple of breaths. Press the back edge of your back foot down. So bend your front knee more, Charlie. Straighten your back leg. You got it. Lift up and reach. 1 more inhale. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Left foot, step forward. Warrior 1. I'll set this on yes. You can turn it to no at any point. It refers to assisting. Breathe here. While you're making it through the last couple of breaths, can you lunge a little more deeply so that you get so much stretch up the right side of your body? And then on the last breath, pull yourself out of your legs and reach. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Let's flow through these next few. 2 more breaths. You go 1 more breath in. Squeeze the floor, bend your knees, jump to your hands, halfway lift. Nice, Amber. Forward fold. Press down, come up, chair pose, fold to the floor. That was my fault. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Right foot forward, warrior 1. Big lunge, reach up, look up, hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Left foot forward, lunge. Anchor your back foot. It's where the whole stretch comes from. That's it, Sarah. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Abby, I think I just called you Amber. I'll get that right next time. 2 more breaths. Here's the last one. Inhale, bend your knees, exhale, jump to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold, chair pose, sit and reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, get really long, low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward. Go long, lunge deep, get the stretch. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Don't worry if you're a little slower or a little fast. Upward dog, downward dog, left side step. We're not just awakening ourselves, but we're waking up as a group. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and breathe. We're waking up here in the room to the people at home. Kyle unfairly outside on a porch practicing somewhere in the world. 1 more breath in. Breath out, bend your knees, jump. Half lift, forward fold. So 1 more time, chair pose. Reach, fold to the floor. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, right foot forward, step. Biggest stretch yet. Press your back leg straight. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, left side step. Deep lunge, reach up high, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog, and breathe. Now in your downward dog, right leg into the air, bend your knee, heel to your hip, take a stretch. Get the stretch from your left palm pressing to your right palm pressing, right knee lifting, right up through your ribs. And then flip over, 2 feet to the floor. Press down in your feet and in your hand and rise up. Can you press into your hand so much that you come up out of your bottom shoulder? So just a little more rise if you can there, Sarah. That's it. 1 more breath. Side plank. Right hand to the floor, face the left side of the room and stack your body up. You just get there however you get there. Come into this space, then press your hand down and rise up. If it feels a little shaky in your arm, sometimes it's because your hand's a little bit out of place. For some of you, I can see they're really in front of your body. That could be hard to hold. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Left side now, leg in the air, bend your knee, open your hip, press your left hand, reach your left knee, let your whole side body open, then flip over. 2 feet down. Press down and reach. Sometimes I really take the time to set the press of my hand and then the reach to the ceiling so I'm not sitting in my bottom shoulder joint, that I'm reaching out from the center to the floor. Keep pressing down and rising up. Side plank, left hand to the mat, or the other side of what you did before. Yeah, Abby and Hannah, you're facing each other this time. Now hips up to the ceiling for everyone. Abby, hips up. Get that by, yes, pressing your foot down. You got it. And if you get to be looking at somebody else, you can just be giving them the eyes of power. So their pose lights up. It gets light and it lifts up. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog, right side, crescent lunge, step forward. Get yourselves set up and stretch. Your right leg forward, stand on the ball of your back foot. Really square your hips. Then hands to prayer position, twist. You might even interlace your fingers and make a ball with your hands. Anchor your elbow. The interlace so you can really put some down pressure on the elbow on your knee. And while you're putting that down pressure in place, put your attention on your left low belly. Lift it up into your body and toward your chin. It'll have the effect of lifting the front of your pelvis and dropping the back of your pelvis to your heel. What you might notice is a lot of opening in your left lower back. We're looking for that. 3 more breaths to find the opening in your left lower back. 2 more. Last one. Reach up to crescent lunge. Turn to warrior 2. Long base here. Back toes turned inward. The back edge of your back foot, press it down. And then reach your arms wide. Tilt for extended side angle. Reach for the floor and for the ceiling. Grace, reach for the floor. You got enough strength to reach for the floor. If you've got the back edge of your back foot pressing, you might discover then your both arms can reach away from the back edge of your back foot. 2 more breaths wherever you are. 1 more. Hands to the floor, chaturanga. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Now the left side, step forward. Hands to prayer. Maybe you take the stretch first if that helps you get set. Then hands to prayer and twist. Right elbow, left knee. Anchor your elbow. Fire up your back leg. That's it. I think I saw that change there, Megan. So pull the pit of your right low belly into your body and up to your chin. So the side of your pelvis drops down back toward your heel. Back, right, lower back opening. 2 more breaths to just experience the opening you've created. Last breath. Reach up, crescent lunge. Warrior 2. Get your feet. First and foremost here, get your feet. Go a little longer, Grace, and angle your back foot in, toes turned inward. That's it. Lunge down and make sure you're standing in both of your legs. Lift the pit of your belly and really stand in both legs. And then tilt, extended side angle. Reach for the floor and for the ceiling. You got it. Your bottom arm can just be putting some pressure on your knee and pushing it back toward your baby toe. That's it. I saw that whole change in your hip. We're looking to open your front hip with that pressure. Reach if you're going to reach. 3 more breaths. 2 more. Last one. Hands to the floor. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. Take a breath in and out. 1 more. Now we'll move on this next one. Breathe in, bend your knees, squeeze the floor, jump to your hands. Halfway lift, forward fold, chair twist. Sit back, hands to prayer, left elbow, right knee. So you might notice once you get your elbow placed, there's all kinds of displacement in your feet. Press your right toe, big toe down. So the side you're turning to, that big toe down. The side you're turning away from, anchor that heel down. You might discover you can again find a lot of opening in your lower back. So left heel down, right big toe down. 3 more breaths. 2 more. Stay for this whole last one and really twist. Then reach up to chair pose, forward fold. Feet hip width distance, hook your big toes. Line your feet up. So this is a spot where I look around the room and the feet start turning out again. Line them up so your heels disappear. And then stretch your chest to the floor. This might feel great to sway from side to side. Erin's rocking all of her weight from foot to foot. You can try that too if you'd like. Shake your head out. Let your head just hang down. That's it, Kyle. Drop your head and breathe. Good, Melanie. Okay, release your toes, chair twist the other way. Sit back into your heels and twist. Right elbow to your left knee. Now anchor yourself. Where does the weight go this time? Opposite of where it went the last time. So you're turning to the left. Put weight in your left big toe and your right heel. Left big toe, right heel. See what you can create in the opening. Melanie, you go by Lainey, right? Is it Lainey? Yeah, okay. Thumbs up. I can't hear you. I'll check that out later. Reach back up to chair pose, forward fold. Now it's gorilla pose, so slide your palms under your feet, toes to your wrists. And shake out your shoulders, shake out your head, and let it be that from your pelvis all the way down your back, through your neck to the crown of your head, you have length. One more breath. Crow pose. Put your hands on the mat. Set them wide. Knees on the outsides of your armpits and tilt the weight forward. The hands you've been practicing in every downward facing dog come into play right here because they're the only part of the foundation on the floor now. So squeeze the floor, especially the knuckle of your pointer finger and the palm of your thumb. 2 more breaths. Now when we move, try it one leg at a time and with more control. Chaturanga. Reach a leg and the other one. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Take a breath. Have a sigh. And then move up to the front of your mat. At the front of your mat, halfway lift. Forward fold. Press down, roll up, take your time, move through each section of your spine. Arms overhead. Right side, eagle pose. Wrap your right arm under. Squat. Wrap your right leg over. And then lift your elbows up to shoulder height. And push your pinky fingers away from you a couple more inches until you experience all the way up across your upper back stretching occurring. If there's nothing there, work with how high your elbows are and how away from your face your fingertips are placed. Once you have that and you're in your eagle pose, you have this upper back, breathe in. On the exhale, drop your chin to your chest. Then breathe in again. And then on the exhale, curl forward in your eagle pose and just breathe right here. Chin to your chest so your head is really heavy. And then as you breathe, each time you exhale, press your chest up into your upper back. Breathe and let your whole back, neck, and upper back open. 2 more breaths. Last one. Roll up, stand, reach up, left side. Left arm under. Left leg over. Set up your legs and breathe. And bend your elbows a little up, hands a little forward. Breathe in and tuck your chin. Already maybe you can feel some neck and upper back stretch. Breathe in and start to curl down to whichever point you feel more of the stretch in your upper back. Every time you breathe, you can press your elbows to the floor and lift your chest up into your back body. Breathe and keep letting your upper back of your neck just melt in this position. 2 more. 1 more. Roll up to standing. Step out. Arms overhead. Hug your right knee into your chest. Hold the knee. Hold the toe. Hold the outer edge of your foot and stand tall. You can use a strap around your foot. If it just feels like too much to hold your foot and extend, pick up your strap. Wrap it around the ball of your foot and press your foot forward. Need a strap? Want to try? This one might be softer. No problem. You can let your shoulders relax back and your chest lift up. With your steady gaze and your steady pose, keep your eyes on one spot. I'll make it easier. Breathe and expand your chest and upper back. 1 more. Hug your knee into your chest. Airplane pose. Get ready for your airplane pose while you're standing. Open up. Instead of getting in this pose and you're like a broken umbrella, keep the whole thing pressing open. Chest open, foot back, foot into the floor. Yes, like a full expression. Yes, I could be convinced looking around the room at your poses that you really are going to lift off and fly away. 1 more breath. Hands to prayer position, half moon. Left fingertips to the floor, right fingertips to the ceiling. If at any point you start losing your balance, just from the center out to your periphery, press out. And only let yourself listen to your breathing. Don't listen to your thoughts. Stay right with your breath. You have this. Wake up your foot, Abby, that lifted foot. Wiggle your toes, wake it up. Press away from center. Forward fold. Take your time, roll up. Feel each one of your bones of your spine stack on the one below it. Hug your left knee into your chest. Use your strap if you're ready for that. Hold your foot and extend your knee. Keep your breath flowing. Let your body just adapt to the pose. Balance comes when you really keep your gaze set and your attention on your breathing. Every time I've ever fallen out of a pose, when I check in on myself, I was thinking about that I was balancing. Hug your knee into your chest, airplane pose. Get ready from the start. Whole thing free. Put a quality of freedom in the pose, in the way you shape your body in the pose. Reach for that and breathe. That's it. Reach. Don't worry about falling, Hannah. Just reach. Chest up, leg up. That's it. Keep breathing. Keep breathing. One more breath. Hands to prayer. Keep your legs reaching. Half moon. Touch the floor. Reach for the ceiling. And breathe right here. Just keep stretching. Practice through the whole of this pose, keeping one-minded attention on your breath, and just stretch. Like this incredible experience of being alive in your body right now. 2 more breaths. Last one, feet down and hang. You can sway from side to side and then come rolling up to standing. We'll take one set of the standing bow pose. Right shoulder behind you. Reach back, bend your knee, hold your shin. Left arm in the air. Get to the point where you're stretching front to back as far as you can. Take a sigh and just relax and release. Pull back more and pull your shoulder back. Once you have that, drive a foot down while the other one drives up. So the opposites of long, and some of you will stay in that space. And then the opposite of up and down. Foot down and foot up. Keep driving your foot up, Grace. You can set your hand lower on your shin next time. You'll have more access to the split. Keep breathing. Okay, come on out. Just put your feet on the floor for a second. Maybe it is hands on your thighs or hands on your hips, but just let yourself recover. In yoga, we just call this becoming grounded. Now the left side. Left hand to your left ankle or shin. So if you really have access to a split, put your hand below your ankle. Then get the outward stretch. So Abby, press forward, press back. And then just drive down and up with your legs. Every time you exhale, sigh and let go, and then drive the pose taller. Reach for the street. Drive your foot in the air. Drive your standing foot into the floor. Stay with it. 3 breaths for everybody. You got it. Stay with it. Just one more. Step out. Feet on the floor, front of your mat. Take a breath. Tree pose. Stand on your left foot. Bring the sole of your right foot to your left inner thigh. Then either interlace your fingers and reach overhead, or take your hands around behind your back for prayer position. In both those arm positions, we're looking for some forearm stretching. So pick whichever one works for you today to gain access to forearm stretching. Press down. Lift your chest up. Maybe look up. Keep the pit of your belly coming into your body and up to your chin. Another breath, and switch sides. One of our students who's been practicing for a while said to one of our teachers who's been teaching for a long time, she's like, "Oh, you mean suck in my gut?" Not really, but if that's the language that works for you, yeah, that. And Megan was like, "Oh, sure, yes." Right foot down, left foot up, and then hand position, maybe arms overhead, or the prayer position behind your back to get the forearm stretch. Breathe. One more breath. Step to the front of your mat. Once you're there, inhale and sweep your arms overhead. Fold to the floor as you exhale. Halfway lift, low plank. Upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward for triangle. So boom, the foot goes forward. Boom, the body's in triangle. Breathe. It doesn't always happen like that. Boom, boom, does it? Go long in your pose. Erin, I think you can move your heel out a bit more. Breathe. Let the underside of your body, so the right side of your body from hip crease to armpit, just stretch long. Keep lengthening. Oh, there you go, Megan. Keep going. One more breath. Come on up to standing. Face the long left side of your mat for a forward fold. Still my favorite, to walk my fingertips forward and then sag my hips back and get this underside body stretching through the flattened armpit, that it's so long, your armpit is working itself toward flattening. Breathe. Fill up the space between your ribs. Maybe start to notice the space between your back bottom ribs, just expanding and relaxing. And then come on to the center and up to standing. Turn to face the front of your mat, standing single leg forward fold. So feet have some width and some length. Hands behind your back in prayer position and forward fold. You can also take Hanumanasana, the splits on the ground. You choose. So start building your pose. You're good right there. Keep going, Abby. Back toes turned under in the splits. Front toes, we'll go with pointing up. And then if you can, if your split is supported enough, maybe a block under a hip, roll your shoulders back. Interlace your hands and lift your chest up until your hands are on the inside of your back thigh splits. Press into your thigh, thigh into your hands, and lift. 3 more breaths for everyone. 1 more. Twisting triangle, left fingertips to the ground. The split, you have a lot of choices. It can be twisting triangle. You could take a twist in the split and breathe. So try to anchor the ball of your big toe down. That's it, Charlie. Keep your heel anchored down, but drive your hip up and back. So heel to hip separating and breathe. Heel down, hip back. Yes, doesn't matter if your back heel lifts. Take 1 more inhale. 1 more exhale, hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Let's try this boom, boom thing again. Ready? So you're in your downward dog. 1 step, left foot forward. Reach up to the ceiling, triangle pose. That's just a spot where we get a little messy. Breathe. Back heel out if you can a bit, Grace. Yeah, and stay with the floor. So let there be that your front foot is anchored here, heel down, big toe down, and that the crease of your hip is driving back, the pit of your belly pulling up to your chin. Yep, reach back, walk your hand back off of your mat, back to Sarah behind you, not to me, to Sarah. That's it. Now look back for Sarah. Reach back for Sarah. Keep lifting the pit of your belly. Yes, there's Sarah. 1 more breath. Nice, Grace. Come on up to standing. Side facing wide leg forward fold. Maybe hands behind you to interlace your hands. Or if you're working on some handstand preps, you can do that. Forward fold. The handstand preps are for a wide leg approach to the handstand. Maybe hook your big toes if your hands are free and stretch your chest. Otherwise, you have the bind behind the back. And come on up, standing single leg forward fold, face the front of the mat. Get the this powerful dynamic spacing of your feet and set your hands and fold. Why do I say dynamic? I mean, like if it's too close, there's nothing needed from your feet. But when it's spaced a bit, your feet have to be working the 4 corners to get this pose. So I anchor the 4 corners of my front foot and drive the left hip back to get this stretch from the middle of the hamstring muscles out to the periphery. So work with your knees, their joints, let them be malleable. That's it. A few more breaths here. Keep breathing. A little bit of support. Yep. Maybe reach back. Twisting triangle or stay in the split and take a twist. Up to you. And breathe. Anchor your front foot and drive your front hip back. There you go. You could take a longer stance. Yes. Now you really have something to work with. Keep pressing this big toe down. Driving. Yes. There you go. Feel it? It's so funny. We don't need to change the poses. We just change the principles. One more breath. Then hands to the floor, downward facing dog. Good work. Come to a high plank and lower to your belly on the mat. All the way down. Locust pose. Keep your toes active like they are in the chaturanga. Toes turned under. Stretch your belly out. Then reach your arms out wide, airplane wings. So get them set up already. So shoulders not at the floor, instead on the back of your body. Then press your heels back so much it has your chest lift. They should be directly correlated. The pressure of your heels back to how much your chest lifts. See if you can see that in your own body. Feel it, that as much as you press, the more you press, the more your chest lifts. One more breath and come on down. Take a breath here. Bend your knees, reach back and hold your ankles. Roll your shoulders back. Hold down low toward your shins and flex your feet. Grace and Abby for sure. Kick back and rise up. When you get a little more access to flexibility, nice, Hannah. Try flexing your feet too. Yes, like that. Breathe. All good poses here. Maybe in the pose, a sigh and relax your shoulders back more. You can keep your leg anchored, Charlie, when you're doing one side at a time. Okay, let's switch. We'll switch sides. We'll give you time for both sides. So if you want adventure in the pose, pick up your strap. If you want to try something new for yourselves in the pose, pick up the strap, bend your knees, reach back for the strap, and lasso your ankles, both of them. Your knees will stay pretty close together and your ankles very flexed. The more flexible you are, the closer your hands will be to your feet. Then you'll bring your elbows into your waist, like a W with your arm, and then your arms forward. Nothing like doing that with no warm-up. Kick back and rise up. So when you have a very flexible back, the strap teaches your arms the motion. And then in time, you don't use the strap. You hold your big toes. And when your arms get forward, you're holding your toes. One more breath, and come on down. You can wave your feet from side to side. Enough of that strap. Upward facing dog to downward facing dog. Let's jump through and sit down and get ready for the bridge pose. Onto your back. Press your feet into the ground, so ankles under your knees. Lift your hips up. Shoulders side to side. Yes, shoulders side to side. Breathe here. Feet down, hips up. So really connect for a moment to your feet, all four corners pressing down. Keep your feet anchored like this. Bring your right knee into your chest, don't move your left foot. Now reach up to the ceiling with your right foot. You should have a sense of opposition. As much as the foot on the floor presses down, the foot at the ceiling can reach. And they depend on each other. They're correlated. One works and the other works. Bring your knee to your chest, put the foot down, anchor the other side, left knee into your chest, and press down, press up. So typically when we lift a leg, everybody moves their foot to the center and turns their toes out. We want to try to work with the true north alignment. That's it, Charlie. Press down, rise up. They go together. Press down, rise up. One more breath. Come on down. Knees can go side to side. Okay, bridge pose into wheel pose now. Grace and Sarah are in the hot seats over here. They have all the direct sunlight. Press down, rise up. Hands, feet on the floor from bridge to wheel pose. Nice. You'll need your feet pressing. Tuck your chin and come on down. Now, if this pose is very flexible and very easy for you, you can be standing up and dropping back into the pose. So come into your bridge, come into your wheel pose. So walk your hands in closer to your feet, those of you that are very flexible, and you really need your feet in this. Press into your feet, keep pressing into your feet, and bring your body up out of this pose. Head is last. Your head is last. Head is last, Grace. I'll come to you next. And then for everybody, come down. Okay, Grace, stay standing. Abby, stay standing. Your hands go into prayer position. Everybody else, bridge into wheel. You can bend your knees. Grace and Abby. Lift your chest, keep your hands on your chest until you can see as far back as you're able to. Look back, look back. The last thing is to reach for the floor. Good. You got it. You can soften your knees, Grace. Keep going. Soft. Reach back. Trust yourself. Go for the floor. There it is. Take a breath. If your bridge or wheel, come down. Abby, you got it. Grace, stay. Put the weight into your feet. Hands to prayer. Let's try it again. You're okay. It's a little scary. Drop back. All the way back. You'll be able to do this by yourself by the end of the day. There you go. Okay, when you look up, it's heavy. Everybody else, you keep going. Put the weight in your feet. Everybody cheer for Grace. Stop right there. Freeze right there. Drop your head. Hands to your chest. Chest to the ceiling. Roll up. Nice. You did it. Oh, that's... Alexis started to talk to you. Okay, let's give it one more round. Grace needs one more round to try this. I don't know how to make her stop talking. Okay, soften your knees. Keep your hands right here. Start going back. Keep going back. Go, look for the floor. That's it. Resist. And then hands to the floor. Reach, reach. There you go. Take a breath. Don't look up. Hands to prayer. Chest to the ceiling. You got it. We'll keep working on that. It's really good. Okay, you guys ready to move on? You got to work on your own there. Okay, Supta Baddha Konasana. Soles of your feet together, knees out wide. Relax for a second. Sometimes it's just fun to know where poses can grow into. And when I know that, sometimes what it really helps me understand is what I'm looking for in the foundation of where I am. Even if my body maybe is never going to go to that next stage of the pose, it still helps me understand the stage I'm in. Dead bug pose. Hold the outer edges of your feet and then rock from side to side. Look for some kind of relieving feeling in your lower back here. Legs up to the ceiling. We'll pulse 10 times. So you're reaching for your big toes. Flexed feet, curl up. Every time you exhale, reach for your toes. And here we go. Reach for 10, 9. I'm watching you at home. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees into your chest. We'll take this last stability work on the floor. Hug your left knee really tight into your chest. If you have a block, you can hug the block right at the crease of your hip into your chest. So let me grab mine so you know what I mean. Your block goes right in this hip crease. Hug it with your left knee. Straight right leg. So when you look at your feet, your toes are really active. They look like they're standing on the floor, not rolled out and turned out, straight up and down. Then palms to the ceiling, like the ceiling's the floor that you're going to do a handstand on. Pulse 10 times. Curl. Every time you curl and press at the ceiling, you get that stretch across your upper back we've been working on where your chest is pulling into your back. If you can envision this, if you can imagine what a cobra snake looks like when it's about to strike and the hood of the snake flares, got that image? That's your upper back. Okay, relax. We're going to switch legs. The block in the crease of your left knee. So this is some of our inversion work, our handstand work right here. Hug the block in the crease of your right knee, straighten your left leg, curl up to the ceiling, your handstand hands, and pulse, blow out. Every time you reach up, blow out. Go for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hug your knees into your chest. Rock back and forth, all the way up to a sitting position. Sit tall and open your legs wide. They don't have to be super wide. And put your fingertips on the ground. Your body will need the rounding body, the hollow body of the inversion poses we were just practicing. Now this time you can point your toes, not turn them out, straight up and down. Every time you exhale, this time you can press the floor with your fingertips or your handstand hands and lift your legs. Let's use your handstand hands. Yeah, I'm serious about this. You guys are looking at me like I'm nuts. Breathe in, exhale, handstand hands, lift your legs. 10 times. You got it. 10, 9, 8, 7, handstand hands, Grace. Set them up. You can do this. 6, 5, yes, Charlie. 4, 3, 2. Oh my gosh, if you could see the faces they're making. Kyle, I know you're not making a face. Well, someday we'll be pressing into handstands from this, Debbie. Megan's not complaining. Rock back and forth to downward facing dog. I know, someday a press handstand. Right leg forward for half pigeon. Half pigeon pose. Did you ever hear a yoga teacher say, it comes from like one of the yoga sutras or something, it's so basic, but if you can, you must. Yeah, so I don't often do that in this pose. Reach back and get your left ankle and bring your left heel with you. I know that my quads are some of the tightest part of my body. I know this makes a difference, but I don't do it. Fold forward. Yep. You can take the king pigeon. A little support under your right hip would help. You don't need a whole block. You need more of a towel folded up. King pigeon is a choice. Yes, but your work, Miss Flexible, is to hug in and lift. But you can hold your toe, just like that. That is king pigeon. Yep. Ready for the other side? Switch sides. Left leg forward. So, an interesting question. Do your knees go sideways or up and down? And sometimes they end up sideways on people, right? You don't want them sideways. So sometimes, oh, do you mean your shin? The shin here? So this is like the speed pedal on the pose. Back here, little easier. Up here, takes a lot more flexibility, so you work into it. What we don't want is you sitting to the side. So wherever this is, from above, the two sides of your pelvis need to be level. So square. So I can put a block under my left hip until my body adapts. Or I can bring my heel in a little. And for king pigeon, typically the heel comes in. It's a flexibility issue. When your hip gets more flexible, this foot will be out here more. The thing is when we have in our minds, oh, it should look this way, and we force it to happen, but the hip doesn't have the flexibility, it'll come from the knee, and that's where you'll hurt your knee. So be patient with yourself. Good question, though. Grab your back foot and come forward. That's it, Charlie. Now get on top of the pose and fold forward. Yes. Breathe. If you've got any more fold in you, take it. Okay, sit on your left hip. Swing your legs around in front of you. You're not going to like this, but we're going to do it anyway. Legs in front of you. And you know what? Just to make sure you have your core turned on, you might as well squeeze your block if you have it. If you have a heavy block, well, this is not your lucky day. You don't have to have a block if you don't have one, though, at home. So instead of having your calf muscles squeezing this block, you want to feel more of this bone in your shins squeezing the block so your toes point straight up. And then press your hands into the ground somewhere between your knees and hips, closer to your knees. So your handstand hands again. Take a breath in. As you exhale, squeeze the block and lift. That's going to be a challenge. Try. It might be that you just lighten the load on your heels and no lifting happens, and that's fine. 10 times. 10. Hannah doesn't like it, but she's doing it. 9, 8, 7, 6. Keep trying. 5, 4. Try your hands a little more forward, Charlie. 3. Okay, that's okay then. 3. Nice, Sarah. Can you try flat hands? 2. Press, lift. 1. Okay, just for fun, because you're there. Just one last thing to try. Are you ready for it, Kyle and Melanie? Hold the block like you have it. Press the floor where you were. Breathe in. As you exhale, lift everything up. Just try. Maybe it's just your butt this time. Maybe it's just your feet. Maybe it's your butt and your feet. Just one try. Okay, get rid of the block. Roll onto your back. I know. Yoga can be interesting. We don't even have to change things. Roll your feet overhead for plow pose. Feet overhead for plow pose. Never been so happy to see a plow pose in your life, I bet. All the way overhead. Yep, waterfall works too. Breathe here. Set your gaze. We're being a little silly and we kind of just let our attention come into the room and all around the room. Now bring it into focus again. You have that capacity to expand it out and draw it in. There's nothing wrong with your attention expanding out. It's just that can you draw it back in when you want it back in? My favorite is to just stay and plow. And then I'm also recently loving also taking deaf man's pose, knees by the ears, reaching back for my feet, using my thumb to push my big toe back and pull the baby toe toward my elbows. Keep your breath flowing. You guys were so much fun today. I love it when we can just have fun. Now I know who the fun people are. When the fun people come to class, we'll have fun. Wherever you are, work your way toward your finishing pose. Looks like everybody's finishing pose would be being on your back. On your back with your knees hugged into your chest. When you're hugging your knees, bring your forehead to your knees and just let the back, like the skin on the back of your body, soften and open. And then put your head down. Drop your knees to the right, turn and look to the left. Yes, take a sigh. Be just in your body, doing the things that your body needs, and bringing the quality of equanimity, balanced, peacefulness. Bring a quality of equanimity just because you intend it. And switch to the other side. And take the sigh over here. We are working on a weekly podcast series where we're just talking with members of our community. Could be you one day. And we're just talking about what have you learned on your mat that you now notice you use in your life, and it's made a difference somehow, giving you greater access to ease, freedom, connection. So right now, just because you're on your mat, you're increasing your ability to have access to those things. Come to the center, Supta Baddha Konasana. And honestly, it's pretty cool that you do that. Come to your mat and do what you can to ensure that you're being the best person that you can be. Trust me, others appreciate it. One of my favorite stories to tell from like 20 years ago when we just started. This was a year or two in, and it was around Christmas time, and I got a phone call from a man who didn't practice. And so I asked him what I could do for him, and he asked me, what is the longest package you have where somebody can come every single day as much as they want? I need to buy that for my wife. She was our student, but she was maybe being frugal with her yoga packages. And let me tell you, she still buys a yearly package and practices almost every day still. She's one of our most long-term yogis. Okay, you have a cool eye towel near you if you're in the studio. At home, I hope you prepared a treat like that for yourself. Sometimes at home, what you need is a blanket or socks. Stretch your legs out long and wide. Grab your eye towel, then arms wide for Shavasana. So get set up. And then when you are set up, take a deep breath in. And just exhale through your mouth. Do that a few times until you feel like you've gained access to a quality of your bones settling. A deep sense of allowing yourself access to rest. And maybe if I share this for you, you'll have a sense of what this rest could be. That you're whole, perfect, and complete, and you came in the room that way. And pose by pose, breath by breath, we've been removing anything in your world that would say differently, in your world of thought, so that you could have a deep rest right now from what you're not, and just be here as what you are, whole, perfect, and complete. Take a deep breath in and exhale through your mouth. Inhale. As you exhale, squeeze your fingers and your toes, maybe roll your head from side to side. Hug your knees into your chest. And roll to your side. Bring yourself up into a sitting position. Get settled sitting tall and just take a moment here to have one more chance to check in with a sense of rest and a sense of stillness. Then we'll reach your arms overhead. Bring your hands into prayer position at the center of your chest and set the intention for the rest of your day. An intention is a North Star, a way you shape up every interaction. 3 times we'll chant Om. Take a breath in. Om. comes to the center of your forehead, and just pause right here and offer yourself some words of gratitude. Grateful that you know to come and take care of yourself, and grateful for the freedom from anything that's just not you. And then take a deep breath in. Exhale. Namaste. Thank you, Kyle and Melanie, for joining us. Bye. Thanks for being here. Thank you guys all for being here and playing too. It's such a treat to get to be here unexpectedly. Have a good rest of your day. Thanks for coming. I see some good breathing going on back there. Yeah, I